Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another week in wrestling and another week of the Takedown Podcast. My name is Mike Larkin, as always, joined by Mr. Roy Costin. Roy, it's always a pleasure. How you feeling this week, man?
Feeling good, man. Feeling really good. Not a lot going on wrestling wise, but a lot coming up wrestling wise. So that's always something to look forward to.
That it is. And I mean, even when there is a week where wrestling news is slow, there's always wrestling constantly going within each and every week. It's almost like wrestling is on like 6 days a week. There's MLWs on Saturdays, there's AAAs, there's Evolve. There's always that constant grind and constant feel of professional wrestling. And speaking of feel, we are feeling tournament season, if you will, because there's a lot to discuss in today's program. We got AEW, we got WWE, and we got some NXT. So I figured we discuss. And Roy, I cannot wait to get your thoughts on this one because I'm sure this is going to be everybody's thoughts. Here we go. Forbidden Door is coming up on the AEW side on June the 28th from San Jose, California. And as of right now, for the men, we actually do know right now the Owen Hart Cup, and the winner gets a shot at All In London in August. So that's going to be fun to see that title matchup. But right now, for the men's Owen Hart Cup final, it is Will Ospreay against either Swerve Strickland or Brody King. Now, Will Ospreay would defeat Mark Davis on Dynamite last week, which was a very good match. We saw the Don Callis family and everyone interfere. And on the other side of the coin, we have rivals that are no stranger to one another, and Swerve Strickland and Brody King. So for you, who do you want to see Ospreay face at Forbidden Door in that final? You think Brody King, or are you going to go Swerve?
I think I'm going to have to go Swerve. Even though it's kind of the safe option, if you will. But I never will turn down watching a Swerve and Ospreay match. Like, both guys are so tremendous. And nothing against Brody King. Brody King brings all kinds of greatness to the table also, but I think in this situation, Swerve and Ospreay, either one of them going after MJF in London, especially Swerve, like, would be really fun. But I'm thinking it's going to, whoever ends up facing Ospreay, I think it's going to be Ospreay going over, just because it's London. It'll give Ospreay the title. You know, there's a lot going on in that, but I'd like to see the final of this one be Swerve and Ospreay.
I mean, they have history from their World Championship bout when Swerve was the champion and Swerve got the W in that one. I've always looked at it like this. When you look at someone like Will Ospreay, we've seen him and MJF and All In for the international title, but I always looked at it like this. You could have a possible situation of Will Ospreay beats Swerve, then he beats MJF, and Moxley, who's been bringing him up, is going to be the one who turns on him because Moxley's the one that wants to beat him for that World Heavyweight Championship and take it all back to the Death Riders. So I think there's maybe some scheming from the John Moxley camp. And then the other idea with Swerve and MJF also have great chemistry. They wrestled each other before. But I think with Swerve is they want to continue on a different direction, maybe do something with Hangman again. You know, we're destined to do this forever. So there's always something there, and I would love to see Swerve and MJF, but I'm kind of with you. I think the safe option is Ospreay MJF too, but this time Ospreay wins it big.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we were talking about, especially being that it's in London, you're going to have that big hometown crowd there for Ospreay. You know, Ospreay wins and you got 60,000 plus screaming fans, you know, going off for Ospreay and everything like that. That's probably going to be the play, is to have Ospreay MJF in London. So
you also look at it from a stance too, like, well, Ospreay's been in this company for 3 years now, and I always look at it like this. I think if you need a top baby face to run that division, it's Ospreay. And I mean, people make the case for Darby, but Darby they use for the storyline standpoint and wearing his body out to losing to MJF. So I mean, they've also set up Darby Allin and Kevin Knight, who, I'm just going to say this right now, we may have discussed this, but if not, I'm going to reiterate the point here, Roy. The fact that he's in the Don Callis family doesn't do anybody any wonders. The fact that you had such a heel turn there, and I don't mind seeing Darby and Kevin. I think that'll be a really good match and feud, but we did not need him to join the Don Callis family. It's like it's such an unnecessary way of the heel turn direction of the arc to go.
Oh yeah. That's all it's ever been with the Don Callis family. Like, somebody comes in, they turn heel, and then it's like, oh yeah, by the way, here's bald guy. Like, what? Like Andrade comes back. Everybody's like, "Oh man, what's Andrade going to do?" Don Callis.
And look,
Oh.
I've been loving How You Know and all the stuff that he's been doing with the girls, but it's just like the stench, the stink, if you will, of being with that Don Callis family. It's like being in the NWO and WCW. Like, who's coming out the limo this week, you know?
Exactly. There is so I think New Japan did it really well with the faction warfare because if you have somebody debut, they're going to end up in a faction at some point. It is what it is. But you never exactly knew where they were going to end up. You know, are they going to be part of Chaos? I don't know. Will they be Bullet Club? Maybe. Are they going to be in Los Ingobernables? Possibly. Who knows? But when it comes to heels in AEW, it's like, oh, they're a heel, so they're probably either part of Don Callis family or what's Moxley's
Oh, the Death Riders,
Death Riders. I almost wanted to call them what was it, the Combat Club again?
the Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah, but it that's basically what it ends up being. It's oh, they're either one or the two. Oh, they're a face conglomeration. How many people are in the conglomeration now?
Oh God, Orange Cassidy, Willow Nightingale, Mark Briscoe, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, like 5 people. Oh, 6. Tomohiro Ishii.
Yeah, so it's just like, okay, I get it. You're trying to do a New Japan spill or spin on things, but you don't have the amount of factions that New Japan had. So therefore it's not working the way you think it's working. So
I've
I don't
always
know.
said this, dude. I look at the Death Riders and I'm like, the worst thing for me was when they put Daniel Garcia in that Death Riders. And no disrespect to Daniel Garcia, but I've never seen someone so bland and just very meh. You know what I'm saying? Like you had he has some talent. There's something there, but every time he gets on that microphone, he blows chunks. He's not the most charismatic wrestler. Wheeler Yuta looks like the troll under the bridge. It's one of those things where it's just like you need more with the Death Riders. Like the best part for me of the Death Riders are Marina Shafir, Moxley himself, Claudio, and Pac. The other two were
Yeah.
just there for like comedy fodder.
Yeah, no, and I mean, so you talk about Yuta and Garcia.
Mhm.
I think they would be perfect as a tag team with a mouthpiece.
Right.
Like, and you kind of have that now, but you give them the right mouthpiece and they could be a really fun tag team because both of them are very great in-ring guys. Like I'm not like you said, I'm not taking anything away from either one of them. They're both amazing in-ring guys, but they're lacking a little bit of that charismatic swagger, if you will. Garcia had the whole thing, you know, with the dance and all that other stuff, but that's just cheap pop fodder, you know, and anybody can do stuff like that.
I mean,
But yeah, it just takes somebody being charismatic, and I think that's all that they really need. If you break those two away from that group, give them some sort of mouthpiece to be there for them and just have them in the ring working as a tag team, I think they could do really good.
I mean, he comes out dancing like Alex Wright 2.0, and it's like you went from this heartfelt story that he was doing with Daniel Bryan years ago, Bryan Danielson, talk about he's my favorite wrestler. Why do you want him to be, why do you want me to face my favorite wrestler, Chris Jericho? They didn't break him away from the Jericho Appreciation Society when they should have. And he's been stuck in this, like, okay, he's dressing like he came out of Hot Topic and he's hanging out with the cool kids now. So it's one of those things where it's just like, no disrespect to Hot Topic. We all have had our Hot Topic stuff. But I'm just saying, this is the impression I'm getting for the image that they're setting within this. So hopefully we can see something there. And I'll make a TNA reference here, Roy. Looking at these two without the right mouthpiece, like you mentioned, it's like watching Wes Briscoe and Garrett Bischoff in the Aces and Eights. It's literally what it is.
Yeah, no, that is a great comparison. Like there was nothing wrong with Briscoe and Bischoff, but they needed somebody to be in their corner to be a mouthpiece for them, you know. And yeah, it's the same thing.
And I got to tell you something. We go from the men and looking at this, I kind of feel the same as way like we do with the men with the final, like we are with the women. So here's the other side of the bracket for the women's Owen Hart Cup tournament. So as of right now, we saw Hazuki beat Persephone on Collision. Mercedes Monet was the wild card, CEO. A CEO, a CEO. Like we didn't know that was going to happen, defeating Alex Windsor. And on the other side, we had Athena beat Mina Shirakawa, and she's going to face either Sky Blue or Suri or Takumi Iroha, both ladies from Stardom. Suri was in NXT for that brief period of time during the 2.0 days. Very talented athlete. If I had to pick here, I think Mercedes is going to beat Hazuki. And we're going to get Athena against, if I'm going to pick Sky Blue over the two, because Sky Blue has really done her thing as a part of the Triangle of Madness with Tekla as well as Julia Hart. So I can see Athena beating Sky Blue, Mercedes beating Hazuki, and then we get to the final of Mercedes and Athena where they have their rematch. I know you got some things to say about this, Mr. Roy Costin. RC, let them know. What do you think about this Women's Owen Hart Cup tournament?
So it feels predictable. You laid out exactly what I think is going to happen. Big shocker. Monet is back and she's winning matches. Cool. I think I would like to see Sari beat Sky Blue and Athena. Sari's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's always been awesome. Athena's awesome. And if you really want to make it a forbidden door match, then you should probably have someone outside of the AEW umbrella be the person that is facing against Monet.
Mercedes and Suri, sign me up.
Yeah, I mean that would be a great match. I can't remember if they wrestled when Monet first got into the independent scene or whatever when she was wrestling in Japan for a while.
I don't think so. I think she wrestled Kairi Sane and somebody else, but it wasn't her.
Yeah, that might have been what I'm thinking of. So yeah, give me Mercedes and Sari. Sure, have Mercedes win because she's going to go on and challenge for the title, whatever the case is. Go for it. But yeah, I think I would rather see Mercedes and Sari at this juncture than Athena and Mercedes. As much as I like the Mercedes and Athena match before, I think you save Athena for a later match. Like if she ever does drop the Ring of Honor title, you know, have Athena come up and challenge Mercedes for the title there. But yeah, give me Sari and Mercedes as the final for that one.
I mean, if I'm being honest, and you have Mercedes win this again, I would have Tekla beat her at All In. I would not have her beat Tekla. I would like to see Tekla beat her because Tekla's stock is rising. Like she's hilarious on promos. She's very entertaining. She's very aggressive. I think that would do a lot for her. God dang it, man. It's just like there's so many things that they could do. And to add on your point with Athena as the forever champion of Ring of Honor, we've said this. We've had our disgruntlements about this. And I've always said this. I've been a Ring of Honor fan since 2005. First show I ever went with my dad was at the Lake Grove, New York, Sports Plus. Brian Danielson beating Jamie Noble for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight title. Like great memories, great times. But I also look at it like this. How Ring of Honor is now, it doesn't feel like the Ring of Honor that you and I grew up on. It just feels like Tony's like, I bought Ring of Honor, yay. And here we have another brand. It doesn't feel like how NXT feels. If he can treat it like how NXT feels when we watch it on the CW, it needs that importance. And I mean, Ring of Honor doesn't really have a TV deal right now. ROH is just kind of wherever. So he needs to do something to have that more prestige and feel, build ROH like their version of NXT.
Yeah, I think whenever people talk about like NXT and Ring of Honor and stuff like that, the original black and gold brand of NXT felt so much like old school Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
You had these guys from the independents coming in, they were having these killer matches week on week, and they were all big names to us, and it was just like, oh man, this is amazing, and that's what old school NXT felt like. Nothing against new NXT. I love the new NXT.
Same.
But it doesn't have that same feel as Black and Gold era. Um, and it's mainly because you're getting people with zero experience for wrestling coming up through Evolve and Level Up and all that other stuff, working in the performance center. And then after a year, building up who they are, making their debut. So they're learning everything in-house to be on TV. So that's the biggest departure between that. But when you look at Ring of Honor now, it's almost like Tony Khan will bring someone in and say, hey, I'm going to push you for about a month. After that month, do you mind working Ring of Honor for me? And that's what we keep seeing. Shane Taylor, he does have the match against Moxley this week, but oh my God, he's somebody that, so many people were like, hey, you should bring in Shane Taylor, bring in the whole Shane Taylor production. And then he did put him on, I think it was Collision at the time.
Yep.
They were there for like a month, and then all of a sudden, poof, gone. It's like, what happened to them? Oh, no, they're running Ring of Honor right now. Oh, cool. So 5 people are watching him now. Awesome.
It's the thing, too, like he cut the promo, him and Shane Taylor Promotions are going against the Death Riders. And I'm like, bro, and I love Shane Taylor. We remember when he used to team with Keith Lee, and they were a badass tag team going against the War Raiders, the Viking Raiders, War Machine, if you will. And now here he is with this, and he's like, we're coming to take over the Death Riders, and we're going to be the baddest. And I'm like, dude, you're the guys on Ring of Honor who are just doing the jam. You lost to Big Justice, okay, and everything, and all that good stuff, and the Big Boom AJ. Like, you got to be kidding me right now. And no disrespect and discredit to them, but you were the comedy fodder for the comedy fodder.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what ends up happening. And but that's okay, because AEW does not do celebrities. Okay, that's a WWE thing. So I don't know what you're talking about. It's not like Shane Taylor lost to Jelly Roll, who worked his tail off in the ring in the Performance Center for 2.5 months, dropped 200 pounds just to make sure that he looked good in the ring. No. He lost to an influencer, sir. Okay, so you put some respect on that.
The hypocrisy is wild. I'm sorry, but it just is. Yeah, whatever.
Oh, sorry. I'm in a mood, man.
Don't even worry about it. Man. Don't even worry about it. I feel the same way with a lot of the stuff. It's just like,
oh yeah,
with AEW. I'm sorry, but Tony needs to, like you mentioned, the Ring of Honor thing. When Deonna Purrazzo came in, they made it a big deal from TNA to AEW. They do the feud with Toni Storm. She loses to Toni Storm, and she's on Ring of Honor. Or she's feuding with Thunder Rosa, and then she has that short-lived tag team with Taya Valkyrie, and then you never see her again.
There was a stint where Deonna Purrazzo was on AEW TV more often because of the Southern New Hampshire University ads.
That is true, yes. For her
college. She's on one of those ads. Well, she's actually on a couple of the ads, but there's one that is focused on her. Mm-hmm. And they played that ad more times than she was ever in the ring on AEW.
Yep. That makes sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Oh.
You need to do something more with these talents, Tony. Like, you have so much at your fingertips, but you're just like,
I feel the same way about WWE. Right? WWE has so much good talent, and they're just sitting and catering right now. They're not doing anything. It's not like, oh, we have NXT, we have AAA. Heck, we even have TNA that we could go play around in. We have Raw, we have SmackDown, we have PLEs, we have a 2B deal, We have all this stuff, but yet they're sitting and catering, not doing anything. Let them do something.
It's like we heard the reports, and this is from the Dave Meltzer side, the um, Brian. So he did a video talking about how we heard that Ilya Dragunov, there's no creative for Ilya Dragunov right now. It's like Ilya Dragunov, who just had this amazing feud with Carmelo Hayes for the United States Championship, that amazing match with Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, and they were doing a lot of great things with him, and now it's just no.
Yeah, I mean, I can. So the report that I saw about that, and I don't remember who I saw it from, so I can't make fun or discredit or even credit who I saw it from. But I did see something about the reason they do not have anything for him right now is because they don't see him as a main event guy,
which is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's also, I brought this up with somebody I was talking to. The biggest thing is you look at the IWC or whatever you want to call all of us, our, the podcasters and all this. We only make up probably 30% of the WWE audience.
Right.
The rest of the audience is casual, use that term, casual fans. They're the people that, hey, there's wrestling coming along. I want to take my 8 to 14-year-old kid with me. We're going to go watch a wrestling event, yada, yada, yada. We watched Raw this week, just because we were on Netflix and it was live and we were like, oh, cool, Raw's on. Awesome. So you're going to want to go after that 70%. And even though I love Ilya's presentation, I think, and it sounds crazy to say, I think him getting that throat tattoo kind of messed up his possibility of a push.
Yeah, they've always had the strict tattoo policy. I mean, they're lenient towards others, but you think that hurts like the image and the merchandising of him? I think that kind of puts the stock down a little bit.
Well, so there's that, but I think when people, like casual fans see him, he was a guy that had no tattoos before. Mm-hmm. He came out in the long robe. He was the Mad Dragon. Everything was just so like awesome. Yeah. And then he gets that tattoo, and now that's all you can kind of notice when he's in the ring. Like I don't know. I think it's old school mentality of don't change your appearance if everything's going all right. And I think things were going good for him before he got injured. And then when he came back from injury, he had that huge tattoo, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, cool, Ilya. I like the tattoo, buddy, but we're not gonna really do anything with you now. So, yeah, I don't know. That may just be me reading too much into it.
No, you're fine. I mean, he gets the U.S. title and then he loses the U.S. title. So, and I mean, and he did his thing that it felt so big when he beat Sami Zayn for that title. But then just afterwards, it's just like, okay, we're going to do Carmelo Hayes to death, which great matches, but it's like, we've been doing this to death and Ciampa, and then, we're here. But wherever Ilya Dragunov goes, like you mentioned, there's so many outlets. Like, you don't think The Undertaker would swoop him up in AAA? Like, come on now. Oh,
so I saw somebody joke about that and said, I guess you just got to throw a mask on and call him El Rojo Dragon.
El Rojo Dragon?
Yeah, and I was like, man, I'd say that's crazy, but also the week after Chad Gable loses the mask, he's already back on TV, so maybe there is something to that,
Well, we will get into Chad Gable in a second because he was a part of Monday Night Raw. But the other thing we have to talk about with Raw is we now know the semifinals because, as we did see, Dominic beat Braun Breaker, Trick Williams, and Damian Priest with some help from the Judgment Day. Now we have Oba Femi and Dominic in the semifinals on Raw next week. Let's start it off there. Oba and Dom, what are you thinking?
So I don't know how often you're on our TikTok,
I am.
but somebody, I believe somebody even commented on one of our TikToks saying they could see Brock costing Oba the Dom match and having Dom win that. And as much as I hate the idea, that's not a bad idea.
No, not
You,
at all.
you get Dom, who's this insane heel, and it plays along with, the Queen of the Ring stuff. And there's a lot you can do with that. So that might be the route they go. If that's not the route they go, then just give me Oba like all the way. I don't care. Um, but I could see them doing Brock interferes, cost Oba that match, setting up Oba versus Brock at SummerSlam, and sending Dom to the finals of King of the Ring.
Now, here's my thing on this. So, this week on Raw, we also did see a great match with the interference of the Vision. Javon Evans beat Talatonga, Ricky Saints, and Seth Rollins. And the winner of Jey Uso LA Knight, yeah, Royce Keys and Finn Balor, excuse me, are going to go to the semifinals. So, if I'm going to actually want to do a surprise, I can see Jey Uso and LA Knight canceling each other out. And I would have Finn Balor win this one. And then you do Finn and Javon against Oba and Dom. And like you said, Dom beats Oba because of the interference of Brock. I would have Finn Balor beat Javon. And then the final would be a rematch from WrestleMania, Finn and Dom. Judgment Day final.
I like that a lot. I really do. Oh man, there's so many good options though with that Finn four-way, because you got Finn, who, you know, he deserve I don't want to say he deserves it, but it's overdue for him to get a good run.
Oh, yeah.
You've got the whole bloodline stuff with Jay and with LA Knight. And then you got Royce Keys, who honestly, you give me Royce Keys versus Javon Evans, and then Royce Keys versus Oba Femi.
I would be
Oh,
Oba and Royce in the finals. That would be sweet.
oh, or dude, even give me Javon and Oba.
NXT history.
Javon is the man, dude. He is. Look, they call him the young OG for a reason. He's been doing this wrestling thing for, I think it's like 8 years, and he's only like 21, 22 years old.
Yeah, him and Jackson Drake have been doing it at the same time. Jackson Drake.
Yeah. So I mean, dude, go ahead, and if you don't crown Oba, crown Javon. Like, that would be cool.
That is another thing that I like too, because Javon has proven himself thus far in such a short time in WWE, and also the tie-in with him and Oba from NXT. That feud hits so
Mm-hmm.
hard. But there's a lot of possibilities that they could go with it. I just would say, out of these, I don't want it to be LA Knight, just because I think, and I love the Roman LA Knight that they're playing off of, but I think maybe LA Knight could be a huge contender for Money in the Bank. And then on
Yeah.
the Uso side, I'm kind of over the Jey Uso experiment. I really, like we mentioned last week, I don't really want to see Cody and Jay, which actually brings me to, what were your thoughts on the Jey Uso promo? This is your warning shot. Bang! And then LA Knight, screw your family. What'd you think of that promo exchange?
I mean, look, the Jey Uso is what he is when it comes to the microphone. He has hits, he has misses. I think that any time that you put LA Knight up against anybody, he kind of I don't know the best way to phrase this. So, you have Jay come out there trying to be all hard, like, yo, this is, consider this your warning shot, la ha la, all that. And then LA Knight's just going to be like, yeah, you and your stupid family. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, he even did it with Bray. Like, before the Mountain Dew match, the Pitch Black match, he comes out there, he's Bray is doing his thing, and he's like, "Yeah, man," and just slaps Bray in the face.
We're even. Bam.
And then it's like, so Bray kind of lost a little bit of cool points when it came to that because you just let this guy punk you down. And it's kind of the same thing with Jey Uso right now. It's you're letting LA Knight punk you down a little bit. So what are you going to do? He's kind of the kryptonite to everybody's over the top gimmicks because he is so over the top with his gimmick. So I don't know. I could see them trying to do that. Whole side of the bracket is confusing me because there are too many stories that could come out of it that would make sense that I don't think they're even going to follow up on any of them. Like you have the Bloodline story. It makes sense for Jay to win because he's proving to Roman, yes, me and you are eye to eye now. It makes sense for that to happen. I don't think it's going to.
The only reason I also thought of it because they did that stare down, and we mentioned Cody Roman 3. There's a part of me that's like maybe that was an inkling of Cody versus Jay and Bloodline reigns on top, which I think would be horrible, and I don't want to do that. And I mean, to go into your point, you also have me reminiscing now when you're talking about Bray and LA Knight. Boy, howdy, it wasn't me, my brother. Like, just everything that he did there just was so hilarious. But it's kind of like this. It's like you go hard in the paint, like you mentioned Jey Uso. Yeah, what? And then LA Knight's just like, okay. Like whatever.
Yeah, like he completely no-sells it. And you lose all credibility when the guy is no-selling it, dropping his microphone, giving it back, and said, "No, throw it again, come on."
Like that was funny.
Like, what are you doing here? Like, oh my god.
How about it's kind of like I'll give you another great comparison when the feud that John Cena was in, and they would talk all of this stuff to him and like menacing stuff, and John Cena would just smile at him. That's what it's kind of like because John Cena, all he had to do was smile and just not even say anything. It's like this guy, like you know how many times I've heard it's kind of like that. So
no, there's the only difference. I will say this: the big difference between LA Knight and John Cena,
yes,
is Cena wants you to succeed.
This is true.
So if he knew that you were messing up, he would go harder on you to be like, no, you've got to dig yourself out of this hole.
I mean, yeah, the Roman
Reigns. Where I think with LA Knight, it's more of I'm trying to get myself over. So you need to, I'm just going to placate to the crowd. But if you ever heard John Cena say fine speech, you were in trouble.
Oh yeah. Fine speech. Oh.
Anytime after he got done and there he just starts smiling, fine speech. It's like, oh no, John's about to go in on you.
I think everybody's still talking about that time he went in on Ryback, like before their thing. It's just like nobody cares. Like, stop talking. Which was like great.
Dude, Austin Theory. It took Austin Theory 2 years to recover, and he's still just the third wheel in the Vision.
Look, and I like they tried with that, and I will always say that to the test of time. Austin Theory beating Cena, I understood it, but here's my thing: he came out looking like such just a wuss in that promo. Yeah. Like he couldn't amplify himself.
Yep.
And the thing is, he's not a bad wrestler. It's just his talking really hasn't improved.
Yeah, it's one of those things of, regardless of how much time you put into promos and doing promo work in NXT, it only takes you so far if you are not a promo guy or if you're playing a character and not being yourself. And I think that's one of the things that messes with Austin Theory is, I don't know if you've ever heard Austin Theory outside of WWE.
I've seen his Evolve stuff.
Well, I'm talking about just like outside of wrestling, period.
Okay.
Austin Theory is actually like a genuinely nice, down-to-earth guy, but he tries to play up the heel because he's a heel. Mm-hmm. And I think he would actually get better and get more over with the crowd if he was a face, because he just has that natural like connection with people. So I don't know. I may be wrong on that.
Well, here's my thing to add on to your point about that. They had a chance with the Grayson Waller feud. Like he could have came back after all of that, but they never pulled the trigger on it.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with all that. That was ridiculous. And now Grayson's off TV because New Day's not there, which was such a smart decision. Bravo, TKO. Bravo for making that decision, making probably your, greatest tag team of all time say, yeah, we're not going to re-sign. We'd rather, so
Deuces, deuces, New Day, deuces.
mm.
Oh,
The more and more I think about it, the more and more I'm actually believing some of the people saying that TKO might have been the worst thing to ever happen to WWE.
I mean, kind of, sort of, yeah, yeah.
No, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go and be like, "Oh man, you need to bring Vince back." No, keep
Oh
Vince away. No,
no,
no, no, no,
that
no,
way,
no, no, no.
that way.
You get me back to the time when Vince left before TKO came in. That period of about a year and a half, where it was Triple H running everything with no one to answer to except for Nick Khan.
2023.
Yes, you give me that, and I'll be happy, because that was some of arguably the best WWE programming that has been put on in probably the past 15 years.
I would probably say so after all of that. Yeah, from where they were from WrestleMania 22 time and 2022, excuse me, and then you get all the way to 2023 and Cody finishing the story. That was fantastic. And then
Yeah,
2024 happened.
yeah, and then they get TKO and all that, and TKO is just strictly money, 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 and oh, so you're like the UFC, so we're going to promote it like the UFC. No,
Oh,
no, this is not like, there is not as much overlap between UFC fans and WWE fans that people think.
not
Like
really.
it's not happening.
It's, I mean, we're both UFC fans and WWE fans are completely separate as far as the genre and the category, but they're also
Yep.
the same because, I mean, for those wrestling fans that saw Brock Lesnar, they went over to MMA to see him, or CM Punk or whoever, Ken Shamrock. Like, come on.
Yeah.
There's always that intermingling there.
Oh yeah, there is some, but it's not it's more of a Venn diagram
Yeah.
rather than like a combination, because they thought, I think when TKO got both companies, they thought, oh yeah, this is perfect because everybody that watches this. But that's not the case. I watch wrestling because I know that it is scripted entertainment that I am having fun watching.
Exactly.
I watch UFC because I know that they are fighting for money and they are actually throwing bows at each other. Yeah, so there's I know what I'm getting when I'm going into it, and your diehard UFC fans are not going to watch wrestling, and your diehard wrestling fans are not going to want to watch UFC. It is what it is.
I will say this, but definitely something that we did want to watch. And this is something that will finish off our Raw talk here before we get into NXT. Big thing that did come out now on SmackDown, we did see Chad Gable return. He apologized to Phoenix. He apologized to Penta. He apologized to Ray and Dragon Lee. And then Penta and Ray have this amazing Intercontinental Championship match on Raw with Penta retaining. And then Ethan Page and Rusev come out. They beat up Dragon Lee, Penta, and Ray, take off the mask. Then Chad Gable comes out. And what I loved about it, Roy, he came out to the old school American Alpha theme song, ran to the ring, Germans on Rusev and Ethan Page, took him out, ankle locks galore, gives Ray the mask back. This Chad Gable, if you don't capitalize off of this, you're crazy, because this dude is over like Rover. Give him something. Elevate him to the upper echelon. This was fantastic to see.
Oh, yeah. I think they're going to end up going with a mutual, you know, Penta puts the title on the line because he sees Chad's changed and everything like that, and he respects him now rather than a heel face dynamic. It's
Mhm.
going to be, hey, I respect you. I put the title on the line against you. Hopefully, they'll do it at SummerSlam. That would be cool.
I'm right.
Uh, yeah, go ahead and get that done. Um, the thing that got me throughout the whole thing with Chad Gable was he talks to Penta. Penta says, "I'm not the one you need to apologize to,"
Mhm.
or what. So then he goes and he talks to Ray Phoenix or not Ray Phoenix, Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio. And even Rey Mysterio's like, I think there's someone else you need to apologize to. And
Otis.
then we didn't. Who was the?
Otis.
Is did he go and apologize to Otis or?
Ray wants him to apologize to Otis.
Oh, is that like they actually said that that's who he needs to talk to, or is that who you were just
And
guessing?
the
Oh,
back,
okay.
yeah, Ray was like, "Hey, Chad, there's other people that you did before you put on that mask that I think you need to apologize to."
Oh, okay. See, that's what I thought, but they never technically said like Otis and Maxine and all that.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, okay, are they talking about Otis and Maxine and Tozawa?
Mm-hmm.
Are they talking about, the creeds? Like, hey
Ivy.
man, yeah, Ivy Nile? Are who all is he talking about? But I could see it being Otis. That's a good shout. Maybe he's talking about Jason Jordan. Hey,
Hey, why not?
hey, I know you're producing tonight, but I need to holler at you for a minute.
Hey,
Um,
hey, remember when you were Kurt Angle's dad? No, I'm kidding.
yeah. You remember when everybody thought that I was going to be Kurt's kid and it turned out to be you? Wasn't that crazy? Um, no, I like what they're doing with Gable. I like the redemption arc. I like how they turned everything in from, what they did in AAA and then transitioning it into what they're doing on the main roster. Uh, yeah, they need to capitalize on it. Unlike last time, they had so much, push for Chad. They need to go ahead and capitalize on it this time. So, yeah, maybe they do SummerSlam or what is it, Sunday night main event?
Sunday night's main event because you see we're on Sunday this time. Sunday night. Sunday night.
Yeah, and it's going to be in Atlanta. So
Hotland.
maybe they do it in Atlanta. Maybe that's one of the big matches they put on for that one.
That's a good shout as well. And I mean, I always look at it like this with Chad Gable the last time. I still said he should have beat Gunther for the IC title. You had a story there as opposed to Sammy, and I get it, but still. But there's so much you could do with Chad Gable now. The only best thing I could say is don't mess it up. Literally,
Yeah,
don't mess it up. And
yeah.
speaking of something that really didn't mess us up, NXT this week, two big things that did come out. First thing I will mention, we do have a new NXT Women's North American Champion as Zarya beat Tatum Paxley. I thought it was a great main event, and Zarya getting that F5 after 3 spears. We did see photos of Tatum Paxley hugging the fans at ringside, and the rumor and innuendo is that she'll be going to the main roster. If I'm thinking of a story to put her with, Bailey and Lyra have been kind of showing some here. So do you think we'll get Tater Tot back with the bird lady, if you will?
I mean, I like that idea. I really do. Like you said, it was a great match. Um, Tatum Paxley has come a long way from her debut.
Oh yeah.
Like she has put in a lot of work. She has become a fan favorite in NXT. Um, there were rumors a while back whenever like Scarlett and Cross got let go and when Wyatt Six got released and everything that WWE or TKO rather were pushing WWE to kind of get away from spooky gimmicks and the weird gimmicks. So I'm hoping that they don't find Tatum's gimmick too weird or spooky because she's great and it would be fun to see her with Lyra again. But that also leaves a void for a certain person that's still going to be in NXT, because then he'll be without, a partner. So, yeah.
We'll be getting to him shortly because
Yeah.
my boy Roy has a lot to say about that gentleman.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I mean, when it comes to Tatum, I completely agree with you because they have that little chemistry that she has with him. But I also look at it from a stance like this. I mean, they're also kind of starting to go towards the route like you got Lizzie Rain there now and her, yeah, rock on and all that stuff, which is cool. They're developing all these new people. I mean, on the other side of the coin, you have Naraku, the former Evil, defeating Mason Rourke thanks to Cam Hendricks' interference. Naraku is going to now face Tony D at the Great American Bash for the NXT Championship. I enjoyed the match. I think Mason Rourke and Cam Hendricks is a nice first feud for him. What were your thoughts on the match and Mason Rourke and Cam Hendricks now?
No, yeah, I think that's great. I I like that Naraku and Mason had a really good match. Like, it gives you an opportunity to see what both of them are capable of, being that both of them just got to NXT. So it's kind of giving that crowd a little bit of, instead of them facing off against established NXT talent, they face off against each other, and it's like, oh, cool. I'm getting to see what both of them can do at the same time. This is great. Um, him going, Mason having the feud with Cam Hendricks, that'll be good, because what you can do is you set that up while still having Naraku face off with Tony D. I would actually go ahead and have him beat Tony D for the title.
I wouldn't hate that at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah, go ahead and have that happen. Have Tony D get moved up to the Vision. That way he's anti-Seth. And then you go from Naraku winning the title to now you have Cam Hendricks and Mason Rook doing their thing. The winner of that feud could be Mason Rook and be like, hey, look, the only reason I lost to you for that title opportunity was because of the guy I just beat. I say me and you run this back. You've got a good, 3-month storyline just from those four guys.
Yeah, that's the thing because the NXT takeover isn't for like another couple months, like you mentioned. So we have some time and space to build in between. And I think with Cam Hendricks, I mean, the dude comes from Evolve. He's Maxine Dupree's boo, and they're really elevating. They see something high in it. He was also on LFG. So you really establish him there. Mason Rourke, he doesn't need the title right now. He could still be big, bad, and body slam your dad right now without the title. The Raku, they see something in Evel. And Tony D is going to be Tony D or anti-Seth, as you put him, which I think is hilarious. We have a lot that we have right now in that NXT picture. Now, the tag title picture, I will say, if you guys have not seen this match, Fraxium against Noam Dar and Romeo Moreno. My God, those two killed it. Fraxium getting the win. They're starting to go the route of what Fraxium was. Noam Dar and Romeo Moreno, who came from Evolve, looks up to Noam Dar. And now we have a nice little tag team there. I thought that really set the stakes of I'd like to see those two against the Vanity Project.
Yeah, I think that would be great. I hate the fact that the rest of Noam's crew is gone.
Yeah.
Lash is doing great on the main roster. Her and Nia Jax together is something that I didn't realize I wanted to happen until it happened. Like, once they got together, I was like, oh, they play off each other really well. I like this team up a lot. Um, I think that they have the possibility of running a good tag division in NXT with those guys, because Noam's always been a good asset when it came to NXT.
NXT UK, one of the best matches with Pete Dunne that he's ever had. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So you look at the current landscape on main roster, on NXT, and it goes back to something I talked with somebody about, the airport test. The old school airport test. And for those of you who may not know, airport test is you're at the airport and you see somebody out of the corner of your eye and you look over and you're like, okay, I don't know who that is, but they are somebody. You know, you think of somebody like Jade Cargill. If you saw Jade Cargill at the airport, if you didn't know who she was, you'd be like, no, she's somebody. Like she looks like somebody. Um, Somebody like Noam Dar doesn't necessarily have the airport test, but it kind of goes back to the Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta of it all, where he would make a great tag team guy. And the only difference is now you don't need a mouthpiece for Noam Dar. Noam Dar is a great on the mic guy. You know, as thick as his Scottish accent is, he's still a great on the mic guy. So yeah, putting him in a tag team, helping build that tag division in NXT, bringing Fraxium back down to maybe help build that tag team division a little bit. It's something they desperately are lacking in NXT is a good tag division. So hopefully this is the start of something good.
Noam Dar's accent, Alicia Fox, for those that remember that time period, Mike Tippett. But no, we also got OTM. We got a lot of great people down there that really are doing their thing. It's just you have to have the point to elevate them, you know? It's just, I don't know. It's just, they need something with that tag team division. They have tag teams on Evolve. They have to have some way to combine everything. But I think once they get the right trajectory, I think it'll be fine.
I'd even put Jasper Troy in a tag team.
Jasper Troy, him and Keanu Carver would make a great tag team.
Well, oh God, that's scary,
right? That's a scary thing for you.
Now, don't get me wrong. I would like to see like Jasper Troy, Keanu Carver go after, you know, main title and the North American title and all that. But either one of those guys as the heavy in a tag team would work very well. You know, you got Dark State doing whatever they're doing. So you got Shaquan Sugars.
Oh, Shaquan Sugars from Dark State, yeah.
Yeah. You got him kind of breaking off and everything. So you've got that whole stuff going on right now. I don't know. There's a lot you can do, especially if you start bringing up some of these Evolve guys and you start bringing in some other talent, start taking some of the guys that are in catering on the main roster and let them have a little stint in NXT like we were talking about earlier. There's a lot you can do with the NXT tag division that could get them back to being kind of predominant.
And I mean, the other side of that coin is two other things we'll mention. Kendall Gray beat Kalani Jordan. She will now face Lola Vice for the NXT Women's Championship at the Great American Bash. Loving the story of Kendall and Lola running it back. Kalani Jordan over there being all angry that she didn't win. I think she's come a long way as the heel character. And as far as Kendall Gray, is there a possibility we see Ren Sinclair turn on her friend? You know what I'm saying? To see everything there. What are you thinking here, Roy? What do you think of Kendall winning the match and the whole Ren Sinclair deal?
Well, Kendall's a great talent, dude. But that's the thing. The women's division in NXT is always a revolving door of amazing talent. And all of them can switch from, you know, one feud to the next without any hesitation. So I could see Kendall maybe winning the title and then getting turned on after that, maybe. But I could also see it where she loses, she doesn't win the title, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, now you're the reason we don't have a title here. So then gets jumped. Either way, I'm thinking there's going to be a heel turn after the match. But
I can see that too, just because you're having Ren kind of go like, you know, yeah, I'm still hurt, but I'm going to do the Speed Women's Championship for my title. So I think they're planting the seeds if she loses that Speed title. So either way, I'm here for it because both girls have worked so hard, and it's great to see their trajectory, and I'm here for it. And now what we're here for is Roy's favorite part of the show. We did have the men's and Mr. NXT tournament with Shiloh Hill and Tristan Angels. We saw them do their thing, dressing up and just, showcasing their attires. Tristan Angels and Shyla was hilarious. The talents, the juggling, the riding on the unicycle juggling, everything that they did in these segments was hilarious. We had Aaron Rourke, who is the Evolve champion, as a judge, Mike Matthews, comedian, and we had, of course, Kit Wilson, Toxic, doing his thing. From top to bottom, this was hilarious, but I think what stood out for everybody that really set up the angle was Shiloh Hill cuts his heartfelt speech of why he wants to be Mr. NXT. Tristan Angels is being the cocky cat that he is, and then he loses and attacks Shiloh after the whole thing. It's what it needed to be. I'm actually looking forward to this match and this feud. So, Roy, I'll let you take it away because this segment was hilarious and it led to a great angle.
Yeah, I love Shiloh Hill, man. Um, first time I saw him was just a random scrolling on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and all of a sudden I see this guy named Thunderkeck, and I'm like, Thunderkeck? That's a crazy name. Well, come to find out, that's Shiloh Hill's real name is Thunderkeck, and they had to tone down his name just to make him a WWE superstar. But he was talking about the dark web and all this other stuff, and I'm like, wait, what? So I started looking more and more into this guy, and he is one of those guys that finds something and decides, you know what, I'm going to dive into this for a little while, and then I'm going to dive into something else, and then dive into something else. So when he started juggling riding a unicycle, it did not surprise me one bit. I'm actually kind of surprised he didn't bring out his AI robot.
That we saw on LFG, yeah.
Yeah, like it's called the Beast, and his AI robot sits in his room while he's on the dark web buying shoes. Like Shiloh Hill, I think, is going to be one of those guys, and I feel bad because of the rumor call up, but he's going to be one of those guys that thrives on the absurdity of wrestling. And you've got Tristan Angels, who, if they wanted to tomorrow, they could pair him with Kit. They could go ahead and pair him with Kit Wilson and just be like, okay, here's the new Yes Boys. That's it. But it it's I like the fact that they turned his hey, I'm an oddity and I'm just looking for, people to love me for me, turn that into the whole gimmick of why he wanted to be Mr. NXT. Like, yeah, I want to be Mr. NXT because, I've never felt at home until I got here. I'm here with family and friends now. This is amazing. And you got Tristan Angels who oh my gosh, why can't I think of Kit Wilson's tag partner?
Elton Prince.
Elton Prince, thank you.
You're welcome.
I could see Elton Prince coming back, like if he's able to come back, and them being a trio.
That would be fun.
Yeah, you got Prince, Angels, Wilson, and just have them be a trio, and that would make sense. So there's nothing. He has somewhere he's going to be, a easy spot. But you're taking away Tatum Paxley from Shiloh Hill, and it worries me because together they're so good, but they would thrive so much if they were together in like TNA, because their gimmick together was meant for TNA. You look at what they do, the whole, hey, coming together and all that, it would get over so much better in TNA than it even is now, and it's already over. Like the NXT crowd love them. I'm just worried for both of them getting to the main roster and the casual fan or TKO just not seeing what we see when it comes to their characters.
It's one of those things I would love to see what they would do in TNA, kind of like when we had the Dr. Stevie Raven and all of them in there with Daphne. Like stuff like that works, but I think when you see the bigger picture like we do, and the TKO doesn't with the main roster, I think it's one of those things where Shiloh Hill is probably one of the most unique characters. And I mean, I put him on the screen with the Thunder Keck is still hilarious. I think one of the things that definitely is going to highlight this man is he's so unique and he's showcasing what the future looks like for NXT. He can be crazy. He can take out his teeth. He can talk all this conspiracy stuff and the hacking and whatnot. But at the end of the day, you're showing he's a genuine good dude that wants to learn and adapt. So there's depth there.
Yeah, and he's good in the ring.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like I have to harp on this every time, but if you're on TV with a major promotion, it's already said you are good in the ring. You've got people on AEW that have no character, but they're good in the ring. You have people in WWE who don't get TV time, but they are good in the ring. Anyone who is on TV is good in the ring. So that's already a given. Shiloh's doing something that other people didn't do, and that is, okay, I'm good now. I can wrestle. Now I need to add something. I need to add that character flavor. And it's what we were talking about earlier with Austin Theory. Instead of being a character, Shiloh Hill's just playing himself and playing into the fact that his life is already a character. Like he's already a character in real life. So why not play into that? So yeah, I hope nothing but the best for Shiloh Hill. I kind of had the same reaction. Well, not the same reaction, because my reaction when I first saw Obafemi was, "Oh, that guy. Yeah, he's going to be big. He's going to be big." But my first reaction when I saw Shiloh Hill was, you know what? He's going to make it. I could see him being a champion down the road, but he's definitely going to have longevity in the community.
The longevity is there and the authenticity is there. And honestly, I think the sky's the limit for Shiloh Hill. I honestly can't wait to see what these talents do in NXT, because, yes, it's not the black and gold, but what we're doing right now really does set the tone for the future. And speaking of the future, our next show, which will be next week, as only as you and I can do here, Roy, we're actually going to take a break from talking about wrestling news, because the pay-per-views and the whole buttload of pay-per-views that weekend are the following week. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little time back, because we've been talking about doing this. We're going to watch the first episode back of WSX, Wrestling Society X on MTV, and we are going to go through our overall history of that 2006 to 2007 time period, watch and review the first episode. We're going to watch matches like Matt Sydal versus Jack Evans, young Matt Sydal, young Jack Evans, and so on and so forth. I'm really looking forward to taking a trip down memory lane next week.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And we'll even go back through and we'll do like a where are they now kind of thing. So it's something I've been looking forward to. It's been a couple years since I watched Wrestling Society X, so it's always fun to go back and rewatch and be like, oh, hey, that's such and such. So it'll be fun.
I'm looking forward to it, man. There's a lot always to talk in wrestling, and the nostalgia hits us. And what hits us is just doing the takedown, man. Take them up, take them down, do it all around, shake it up, shake it down. What? So, with that being said, Roy, my nerdiness aside, where can we follow us on the socials? All the links will be in the description. Take it away.
Yep, all the links in the description. We'll have a link tree there. Follow us pretty much anywhere on Takedown Pod or the Takedown Podcast. So anywhere that we're available, that's where you can find us. Hit us up, leave comments, Let us know you watched. All that fun stuff.
And also, if you will, this was also featured on WFJFM.com/podcast for audio formats, as well as Spotify Takedown Pod, like Roy mentioned. You can also check this out on S&M Network Shows, which features a plethora of shows from wrestling, pop culture, and beyond. Subscribe to our channel and subscribe to the Takedown Pod YouTube. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's SM Show 1 or MCL92. Instagram is Larkin_92 or MLarkinMB. StephenMikeShow.com, LFCfights.com. Everything is linked together. And I'm not talking about the other together. I know my calculus, it says you plus me equals us for those boy band fans out there. I digress. But with all that being said, from my main man, RC, my name is Mike Larkin. Thank you for listening to us on the Takedown Pod. And I'm going to put you in Ring of Honor.